Hello and welcome everyone into the Computer America Show. We are the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers and technology. Everyone, we hope that you're doing well. Today on the program, we have a lot to talk about, a number of stories and articles, everything you need to know about today's headlines, and we're happy to bring that to you here in just a moment. Now everyone, first of all, computeramerica.com. That's where you'll find everything, including past shows, future shows, everything you need to know about the show, including podcast directory. Wherever podcasts are heard, you can, of course, find us there. While you're there, be sure to check out articles, reviews, links, social media. Give us a like, give us a follow, give us a review. All that helps. And hey, you know what helps the most? Just sticking around and giving a listen. So everyone, welcome into the program. Today we have a number of stories, and we're going to start with, well, the one, the only, a number of these. And how about Bobby Kotick? Let's start off nice and easy, as clean as milquetoast. And yeah, it looks like people are not happy with Blizzard. They continue to be not happy with Blizzard. So let's check this one out. This one from The Verge, and it's about shareholders demanding Bobby Kotick's resignation. And it's not just shareholders at this point. I think today the Activision Blizzard employees staged a walkout demanding that CEO Bobby Kotick step down as well. Now, is all of this going to amount to anything? Who knows? But there's clearly a lot of pressure from a lot of sides for Bobby to step down in his role in the sexual harassment suits and the sexual harassment cases that have been found to plague Activision Blizzard behind the scenes. And really, as a company that started back in the late 80s, early 90s, started with a bunch of guys, and let's face it, they were never able to really make a smooth transition from almost like a frat style setting, a bunch of guys just, making video games together and palling around, and made it into a multi-billion-dollar inclusive company. Clearly, they had a lot of opportunities to do so, but, the transition was not smooth. And in fact, some could say that the transition is happening right before our eyes. Now, what the latest allegations include the fact that Bobby Kotick had tried to dismiss and tried to hide or did not respond appropriately and immediately to a number of allegations for some of the other higher-ups. They're saying, as new reporting indicates, and in contrast to past company statements, Bobby Kotick was aware of many sexual harassment, sexual assault, and gender discrimination at Activision Blizzard, many incidents, and we therefore call on Mr. Kotick to resign as CEO of the company. Honestly, with some of the biggest names in game development leaving the company, a lot of people resigning out of protest over the actions that have been taken already, I'm always surprised that the CEO of the company, the one that is supposed to take full responsibility for how a company runs, and let's face it, this is a company-wide problem. This is not just one particular instance. No, this is an entire company-wide problem, and the fact that the CEO was never found to be responsible at any level has always surprised me. So in the aftermath and this is, of course, with the Wall Street Journal reporting a number of instances, and of course, again, the cover-ups that Bobby helped happen with. They said that IGN reported on former Blizzard executive Jen O'Neill and her sudden resignation, stating that despite being co-president with Mike Ybarra, she was paid less than him and was only offered equal compensation after tendering her resignation. That, I believe, has probably less to do with gender discrimination, and obviously her lawyer is going to assert that it is, but that probably has less to do with gender discrimination, more so than just how compensation in the workplace kind of works. You are highly discouraged from discussing your wages in situations like this, and that really benefits the employer who, hey, if they can get one co-president for $6 million and they can get the other one for $8 million, hey, they just saved the company $2 million. It's not so much about gender discrimination, because you're a woman, you deserve less. It's more, hey, you didn't ask, and we're not sure as heck not going to compensate you unless you bring it up or make it an issue. So in the letter sent to Activision Blizzard board of directors, they write, our company faces an unprecedented workplace crisis of its own making. And they criticize the board for being almost entirely silent. Indeed, they keep pushing out random spokespeople to kind of control the narrative, and time again, they keep having to step down because it's just not enough. It definitely is not enough. Okay, so they also say that the retirement of Brian Kelly and Robert Morgado, two of the senior-most board members since the early 90s, in order to ensure that the board of directors is capable of leading a top-down effort to reform the company. While the SOC represents a minuscule portion of Activision Blizzard's total shares, the group says if its demands are not addressed, it will not support the re-election of current board members and would work to ensure other shareholders follow suit. So yeah, Bobby Kotick, it's surprising he's still around, and it's, even though he is not directly accused of assaulting anyone or discriminating against anyone in particular, it's not listening to complaints that were clearly filed with him and being lenient with those that he did address. Just showed that, you know, there was not a sense of urgency in his reaction to what had happened. So I would not be surprised if by the end of the week, or at least the end of the year, he left. Of course, the biggest part of that is the board of directors, and the board still completely has Bobby's back. A lot of that has to do with the share, with the share price. He's made them a lot of money. His direction has definitely helped the company grow into what it is today. But yeah, companies should be a little bit more moral rather than just financially motivated. But of course, hey, a company is a company. So what are you going to do? So there you go. That was story number 1. Story number 2. I think all of us can have a little sigh of relief. Why is that? Well, the end of, and this is thanks to the Federal Trade Commission, in case you didn't hear, the end of click to subscribe, call to cancel. We've all been there. We've all signed up for services, and then when it comes time to actually break the contract, or or you want to cancel, well, turns out you have to call. You have to you have to go through the runaround. You have to go through retention. It's a really messy situation to end services that are so simple to start. And, of course, they'll take your money, but they really don't want to let you stop paying them money. Well, looks like that may be ending soon. Saying that they're saying that discovering that they had that they had to get on the phone to cancel a subscription they signed up for online, rankled several respondents in our survey looking at why people canceled their news subscriptions. The reactions to the call to cancel policy range from an annoyance and ridiculous to shady and oppressive. Because obviously, once they have you on the phone, and companies know this, first of all, making the phone call, a lot of people get anxiety, and it's definitely seen as like a barrier. If you have to make the call, it's time out of your day, it's annoying, and you don't want to talk to anyone. So companies know that's going to stop a certain number of people from canceling. And then the companies also know once you have another person on the other end, it then becomes almost a negotiation. They can convince you not to leave. They can convince you to stay with their service, to not cancel. And that is a problem in and of itself. Now, publishers tend to think of this as retention, and a study of 500 news organizations showing that only 41% make it easy for people to cancel their subscription. So close to 300 definitely do not. The FTC, meanwhile, recently made it clear that it sees the practice as one of several dark patterns that trick or trap consumers into subscriptions, and 2, straight up illegal. The FTC vowed to ramp up enforcement on companies that failed to provide an easy and simple cancellation process, including an option that's at least as easy as the one to subscribe, which allows a bit of wiggle room, but hey, might get companies to really think about their cancellation process. Now, they said that the new guidelines around negative option marketing, which includes everything from automatic renewals to free trials that convert to paid subscription if consumers take no action, go beyond mandating that companies offer straightforward cancellation. And that was a completely different thing that happened a little while ago. If you didn't catch that, the no risk free trial, and if you take no option, after your first month, the second month they start charging you unless you cancel. That was on the chopping block like a month ago. So that should be going away as well. Luckily, this idea that you have to cancel, or if you forget to cancel, and really, let's be honest, companies depend on you forgetting to cancel your subscription before they auto-renew. That should not be allowed anymore. That's what the FTC says. A free subscription is a free subscription, and there's no way around it. Don't charge people money, and if people get charged money for it, then it's not really free, now is it? Okay, so companies, including news companies, must make clear and conspicuous disclosures, including each deadline by which consumers must act in order to stop charges, the amount or range of costs the consumer will be charged or billed, and all information necessary to cancel the contract. So they said that in implementing effective cancellation procedure, marketers should not, among other things, hang up on consumers who call to cancel, place them on hold for an unreasonably long time, provide false information about how to cancel, or misrepresent the reasons for delay in processing consumer cancellation requests. There you go. Again, all of that included with the FTC enforcement policy statement. So, but it's, if it's going to happen, I hope it happens soon. It looks like it should, and this is a sigh of relief. This should be a sigh of relief for a lot of people out there. So, everyone, we hope you enjoy that, and hey, we can't wait for something like that to actually go into effect. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we will have all of these stories. If you want to read more, we're kind of giving you the brief synopsis of these articles. And if you want to read more, computeramerica.com will have it in the show notes. Now, with that being said, we'll go ahead and continue on here. Modders, they exist in kind of a legal gray zone. They're not generally not making money from their product. Generally, they are not hurting the product. In fact, they are doing what fans do best, and that's essentially improving on what they see as, just building on an already great product. And I feel like modders wouldn't bother with a game that they didn't actually enjoy. Well, looks like there was a court case, and GTA modders to court. Our game fixes and enhancements are fair use, not piracy. This is a pretty big one. There's actually a pretty big online community around modded GTA that, a lot of people find a lot of enjoyment out of. Well, let's find out. Earlier this year, a group of programmers and Grand Theft Auto enthusiasts released RE3 and REVC, a pair of reverse-engineered modifications for GTA 3 and Vice City. Projects allowed fans to enjoy these dated games with significant enhancements and were a hit with fans. There you go. They were not subjected to bludgeoning by fan. However, Take-Two and Rockstar Games took exception and responded with a DMCA takedown filed at GitHub to the repository to have the repositories removed. The team fired back using the DMCA counter notice system, and RE3 and REVC were restored. Early September, Take-Two filed a lawsuit against the team, arguing that the aim of the project was to create and distribute pirated versions of GTA 3 and Vice City. You can imagine with Take-Two and Rockstar just putting out, regardless of how good or bad they are, recently remastered versions of these games. Yeah, legally, they had every incentive to do this. So they said that through their attorneys, the team behind the modded games have now responded to the complaint. They address each of the plaintiff's allegations, largely denying them, but in some cases stating insufficient knowledge to form a response. Broadly, however, they insist that they did not commit any type of copyright infringement, something that they expand upon in a short list of affirmative defenses and defenses based on facts that are those that support the plaintiff's claim. There you go. So the article goes on a bit. Let's go ahead and just kind of shorten this here, saying that Take-Two's complaints alleges that they're resident in Germany, and the response admits that. However, they claim that another defendant is an individual located in New Zealand is denied. Similarly, it is denied that someone located in Turkey and another one that is located in Germany. So yeah, there's a lot of international law that they have to abide by. This may be found okay in the court of Germany, but not okay in New Zealand or Turkey. They also said that the United States Copyright Act should not be applied outside the United States and the territories to the extent plaintiff seeks to extend the application of the U.S. Copyright Act to cover activities outside the United States. A claim should be barred, the answer conclude. I don't know if I really agree with that. Just as soon as someone is outside the U.S., they can do whatever they want with U.S. IP. Probably not the case, but hey, it's certainly a start. So all that being said, I don't know where to really come down on this one. Obviously, modders probably aren't pirating your game. Sure, some people may be playing the game because it is modded and there's a fun mod for it, but I doubt anyone is actually picking this other version of the game, and saying, well, thank goodness I got the modded version, now I don't need the original. If anything, it really highlights the willingness of the community to kind of step in and create new content for games that have been out for 10, 15 years. Maybe these companies should be allowing their customers to mod the games themselves. Skyrim has seen a lot of success with this. Fallout has seen a lot of success with this. A lot of different games have seen, continuing love and fanfare for their IPs because of the modding community. Skyrim in particular, you just haven't played the game until you've started modding, adding the shaders, adding new characters and units and skeletons and new abilities and so on and so forth. It really adds a lot to the game. It seems almost like a no-brainer. Why wouldn't they allow modders to have at their game? But hey, it's also Take-Two's responsibility to protect their IP in every form. They can't just let this go legally, otherwise they would lose their trademark. And so I feel like, their hands are kind of tied. They have to defend their trademark, otherwise they lose it. And this just happens to be one of them. I wish that they supported it more in another way, but their hands were probably tied when it came to this particular dispute. Okay. This article, I'm not sure if I really want to cover it. It's about the co-creators. It's about the co-creators of YouTube, or at least the co-founder of YouTube, predicts the decline of the platform following the removal of dislikes. And honestly, he hasn't been part of the company since really, really early in YouTube. And it's, Google has obviously turned YouTube into something hugely different. It's a completely different company. It's a completely different beast. And this gentleman is the original uploader of the first video on YouTube, which, by the way, is A Day at the Zoo, or I should say, quote, me at the zoo. There you go. It's the first video ever uploaded to YouTube. And saying that whenever YouTuber agrees that removing dislikes is a stupid idea, it probably is. Try again, YouTube. But this morning, he changed this description once again to give a more detailed condemnation. yeah, I don't know how much effect this is actually going to have. Probably very little, but yeah. Honestly, the removal of the dislike button, it feels like it's not really that bad. If you don't like something, then you shouldn't be engaging with it. You shouldn't be watching it. You shouldn't be disliking it. You shouldn't be liking it. You shouldn't be commenting on it. If you really don't like something, don't watch it. That is the best way to not promote the video, because any form of engagement, including the dislike button, is a form of engagement, and that will promote it to other people. Sure, your profile doesn't like it, but then there's probably an opposite of your profile. You know, someone who's not into gaming, someone who's not into sewing, someone who's not into animals, and it will instead be promoted to those people instead. The dislike just takes away one form of engagement. Like, honestly, it probably hurts YouTube more than it helps. It hurts YouTube, the company, but honestly, it does help those who upload videos and just aren't that good at it, or need to refine their process a little bit. It's this whole controversy. It's almost like when Snapchat totally redid their user interface back in like 2018, and it got review bombed incredibly. It went down to 1 star. Even though it was one of the most used social media platforms, it got review bombed into the ground. They have since built it back up, but that reaction, people love to join a mob, and that reaction really, really struck a chord with people. People love to hate, People love to pile on as well. So, speaking of which, although this one is probably deserved, this comes as a surprise to someone who actually uses, a program like Streamlabs OBS. Turns out there's a bit of a dispute between Streamlabs and OBS, which is Open Broadcasting Software. Streamlabs is coming under fire for material used to launch Xbox streaming platform and beyond. As Eurogamer reports, rivals have accused the company of copying web material, naming schemes, and possibly functionality. Lightstream, for instance, noted that the initial website for Streamlabs Studio was extremely similar to its own. There you go. Including, as streamer I Am Brandon discovered, the user reviews. Streamlabs said that this was an error that put placeholder text on a live site, and the planned copy was now in place. That seems... placeholder text. That seems real, and we can go ahead and go over to Twitter and find this out. So I guess the first one is the Lightstream website, which if you're watching the video portion, you can see that there. 2 reviews, and then when you go over, these 2 websites, and of course it has a picture of the interface. It has some control text, very similar, and then 2 reviews right underneath it. And one of the reviews reads, "Lightstream is literally one of the greatest things I've ever discovered. Thank you so much for making it so easy." Going over to the other picture for Streamlabs Studio. They said Streamlabs Studio is literally one of the greatest things I've ever discovered. Thank you for making it so easy, or making it easy. So they removed like one word, and yeah. Love the platform, love how they listen to their community, is the perfect platform for console streaming. And they said, love this platform, love how they listen to their community. So yeah, they even copied the reviews. It was, that's pretty egregious. Saying that that's only the start of the accusations, OBS complained. And this is the open source project that started OBS. That Streamlabs used OBS as part of its broadcasting software name, where obviously Streamlabs OBS, despite being asked not to. While Streamlabs has technically honored the terms of the GPL license used for OBS, it allegedly disregarded the spirit of open source software. Elgato, meanwhile, even implied Streamlabs Stream Deck was borrowing at least the name, if not features, from its Stream Deck mobile app. So, yeah, you could definitely see. And, it happens all the time. Apple does this with their App Store. Whenever something gets super popular, Apple rebrands it and, tries to make it obvious to its customers that it's super similar to this other thing, but it's not exactly the same. Now, we've asked Streamlabs for comment. However, the plagiarism accusations have already led to a significant backlash. Top streamers Pokimane and Hassan Abi have both threatened to stop using their products if it didn't address the situation. Simply put, Streamlabs might lose some of its best-known customers if it doesn't act quickly. So, yeah, it's they even have another tweet here from Lightstream showing the similarities between the two and the design. It's honestly, the design's not too radical, but it is similar. That's for sure. I'm not surprised. A lot of companies do this. Very few of them get called out for doing this. OBS is probably one of the smallest complaints because OBS is open broadcasting software. It is an open source project, and they even said in the article itself that Streamlabs has honored the license agreement for using open source software. So the fact that they kind of hijacked the name, even though they said not to, I kind of get it. And as an open source community, I mean, they don't have many legal recourse or much legal recourse for this, but yeah, I get it. And it happens a lot in this industry. It's just weird to finally see it getting called out. So everyone, yep, that's that one. How this all ends, they probably do address some of this. They probably make a donation, undoubtedly. They try to rectify it and come to agreements. But yeah, this is probably all going to go away in a little bit. Streamlabs is very ingrained in the streaming community. So I don't see that ending over something as simple as this. So this is the last one. Speaking of things to hate, people don't like TikTok for a lot of reasons, but one of them are these weird challenges. And I've even seen a couple myself where there's definitely some self-harm. There's like stealing things from school property. There's, doing really awful things. And what becomes trends is pretty unpredictable and sometimes very harmful. So TikTok takes extra steps to curb dangerous challenges. And yeah, they're saying that just over 1 in 5 teenagers has participated in an online challenge, a survey commissioned by TikTok suggests. But only 1 in 50 have taken part in a risky and dangerous, and fewer than 1 in 300 a really dangerous one. Remember though, 1 in 300, and you're talking about, 80, how many users does TikTok have? How many users does TikTok have? 1 billion. Neat. Okay. So 1 billion, of course, you're looking at the other ones, it's, still growing, but 1 billion, 1 in 300, what is that? Like 33 million? Yeah, somewhere around there. 33 million people have taken part in a really dangerous challenge. And of course, I'm sure that's less because it's singling out teenagers versus other age groups. Still, millions of people have taken part in risky or dangerous trends. Well, they said that they even include the Skullbreaker challenge here in the article, saying that there's been a widespread concern about the proliferation across various platforms of potentially harmful online challenges. Last year, the Skullbreaker challenge shared on TikTok was linked to injuries. And this year, doctors warned of risk of life and limb of the milk crate challenge. That one went viral even so much that I even saw it. The one where you stack up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 milk crates and then down the other side, and you have to walk up them. And it's, 1's super simple, 2's kind of iffy, 3 and 4 and 5 are very dangerous. People fall and, hurt themselves often. But online challenges can also be positive. Obviously, they're looking at the Ice Bucket Challenge as well. So the independent report exploring effective prevention education responses to dangerous online challenges, TikTok Commission draws on a survey of teachers, yada, yada, yada. In response to its findings, TikTok said technology that alerts our safety teams to sudden increases in violating content linked to hashtags would be expanded to also capture potentially dangerous behavior. For example, if a hashtag such as food challenge, normally used to share recipes, suddenly saw a spike in interest, apparently connected to videos breaking the company's rules, the team would investigate. There you go. Now, experts contributing to the report noted that adolescence is a period that has always been associated with heightened risk-taking, but it comes at a time of heightened public debate about the impact of social media on teenagers, and TikTok research also looked at suicide and self-harm hoaxes. Some schools warn parents about Momo, for example, a sinister character with bulging eyes setting children dangerous challenges such as harming themselves. There you go. Although that was a hoax, no one really followed that, but yeah. It's saying that hoaxes like these are often similar characteristics. In previous cases, false warnings have circulated suggesting that children were being harmed or encouraged to take part in games, which resulted in self-harm. These hoaxes largely spread through warning messages, encouraging others to alert people as to avoid perceived negative consequences. One of those that I can definitely say was the case was the Tide Pod challenge, the one where they encourage kids to eat laundry detergent pods. There were more older people with dementia admitted to hospitals than there were young teenagers getting into that trend. Not many actually did it. And in fact, the reaction to it was much larger than the hoax that people were doing it. So with that being said, that's about it there. So TikTok is going to be addressing these dangerous challenges before they start, because a lot of them do start on TikTok and then they go to other platforms as a response. It's very interesting how prolific TikTok has become. It's a very, very popular platform in a very short period of time, and I've never seen anything like it. So hopefully they can get a handle on it, but everyone, hey, just be careful with social media. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's about all I got. That was today's show. It was short, it was sweet. We hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, lots of headlines out there. Those are the best of the best that we could find. Tune in tomorrow. We're, of course, live streaming every day at twitch.tv/Computer America. And on top of that, we have our podcast going out daily, multiple times a day, sometimes, depending on the events and the news. Everyone, we hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you here. Bye-bye, everyone.